All right, it's 2024, everybody, and we're here for another edition of Bourbon Banter Evans. Justin, what are we doing today?
Hey, 2024, we're back. We introduced the calendar last time. We're doing things slightly new. Based off of some requests, we're going to go slightly off chart, and we're going to start doing a little bit more ratings and rankings of bourbons. We have some right here on the table that we're going to discuss, and then maybe go into a second video as well. We actually have a couple people in the background, so if they have any questions, comments, or concerns, they can reach out and say something. They've also tried these, or if they want to reach in and try it along with us.
Yep.
And obviously, we encourage you guys to grab a pour as well while watching the videos, and obviously putting any comments that you think about these fine products. And Charles, tell us a little bit about these.
Yep, so what we have is we have the Bardstown Origin Series here. Right here, we have the Bottle and Bond, which is going to be 50%. And we have the, I guess you would call it more of the high rye.
Definitely high rye.
Yeah, high rye right here. And this one is 46%. So, and if I remember, what's the, it's 23, no, what was the rye content on this one?
36?
Yeah, it's 36 rye, 60 corn, and 4% malted barley.
Right, and this one in the Origin Series is going to be the wheated one, which they went with Bottle and Bond. And on this one, they are both 6 years, 48%.
48, my bad.
It was 96 proof.
96 proof, sorry, I got that a little...
So that's fine. So this is going to be, if I remember correctly, 68% corn and 20% wheat. So
yeah.
So wheated one. Now there is a rye in the Origin Series.
There is.
Which is there. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Origin Series is, Bardstown Bourbon Company is producing their own stuff. They're also known contract distillers and source a lot of different bourbon barrels, come in and now produce for tons of different.
Yep. And what I love
products,
about it,
distilleries.
What I love about it is this is their stuff. This is what they've produced, that they've put up. This is their stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact year, the first time that we went to Bardstown Bourbon Company, but it was a fantastic visit. And then let us not forget about the famous control.
Yes.
So if anybody, especially anybody in the background, wants to try the control again versus what they have, by all means, we still have plenty, and you can try that as well. Definitely. But I'm going to jump in. Let's go ahead and get us a pour of the first one, and we'll discuss a little bit some ratings and rankings. And then I said we discuss how Bourbon Banter Evans is going to do the ratings and rankings.
All right. There you go, sir. Now this will be the first time I've actually tried this one. I haven't tried this one. I've had the Bottle and Bond. I love the Bottle and Bond. I'm just a Bottle and Bond fan.
For sure. The bonded is great, and it is the wheat, and it's very soft. So this one, what I like about this one for having this one again, it is, again, 36% rye. So it is a high rye by definition, but it tastes nothing like a high rye to me based off the mash and the way they did their barrels up at Bardstown Bourbon Company. So to get into a little bit of the rankings and the ratings, Charles and I came up with this system.
I think so, yeah. I like it. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's a good system.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a standard rating of whether they get 1 stave, which is going to be a level 1 char, 2 staves, level 2 char, 3 staves, level 3 char,
4.
The alligator char. So if you get the 4th rating, or so if you get 4 staves, so 4 charred staves, which is the alligator char, you have rated really well. And in the bourbon world, we all knew what 1910 was from Old Forester when that was released on the Whiskey Row series. They went above and beyond the alligator char to the point where some of the barrels didn't even hold liquid and pass the pressure test. And that was a higher level of char that was just, pretty much unheard of based off of some historic things from 1910 in the Old Forester series. So there is a level 5 char is what we'll call it, but essentially if we're trying something that we give a level 5 char on the stave test or stave ranking, you got something.
I think it's probably going to be, I'll probably say that's what bourbon should be, and you look up bourbon in the dictionary, that's what it probably should be.
It sounds something like my dad said. And so that being said, let us know what you guys think about our stave ratings 1 through 4, and again, if we have the almighty above the alligator, which is not standard, but so alligator char is pretty much what they call a level 4, 55 seconds or so. So we're going to call that the top ranking in our system we're going to give it the charred stave ranking.
Yeah. Honestly, let us know what you think. Hit that like, subscribe button. Really appreciate that. And cheers.
Cheers to you guys as well. Thank you. And then, so now we're going to dive into the Origin Series for the rye version.
For the rye version,
Bardstown Bourbon Company, which these have been out since 2023, I think, maybe a little bit sooner than that, depending on the market. It was 2023 here for sure.
Yes.
And it was early on. Even these say fall 16 and fall 17 as far as their distillation and things like that. So not in our market for too terribly long, but when they did come in, they came in at a really good price point.
Yeah, good price point, and honestly, it's one video we've been wanting to do, and we just decided, hey, let's go ahead and get it done today. So
yes, so now I went way too fast past the nose because I was too excited to try it. But
get that. Yeah, you get that rye.
you get a little bit of it, but it's not like an in-your-face high rye. For instance, like a Wild Turkey, like the standard 101 or anything like that.
But the nose on it, I was looking. The nose is sweet.
It is. It's very sweet.
Yes.
And what the first thing that I think of when I'm actually trying this one, for whatever reason I can't get past it, is tea. I get a tea note, almost like a black tea, not a green tea, not a sweet tea. Like if you're going to your favorite store and getting a sweet tea, it is sweet notes to it, but I'm not getting anything like I'm drinking some of the like southern sweet tea.
Right.
Which I'm not a big fan of actually.
No. I'd much rather have unsweet tea, but that's just me.
It doesn't have a lot of ethanol. Now we are doing this out of Glens because we've rated and ranked a lot of things before. Now we're going to start doing them a little bit more frequently, or at least not every time, but a good bit of ideas as far as what we think in the bourbon world as far as consumption goes, and whether we think it's the value. One of the things that I really am going to give them a high rating on is the bottles.
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved their bottles.
Yes,
to be honest
the bottles I think are great. They have good shelf presence and they have really good artwork on the back.
The artwork is, I don't know if it's going to come out on the video or not, but the artwork is amazing.
So this one is standing for trees. Obviously, that's where barrels come from, and that's a grain. I'm going to go with corn.
It's corn.
Yep. And so each one has different art on it, kind of like signifying a different part of the artistry in bourbon making.
Yeah.
And so
now, second sip on this. It's amazing. All right, so first sip, you felt I got a little bit of that rye. Rye is it's going to give you that spice, a little bit of spice. But second sip, it's just hello and gone, and it finishes. First sip finishes smooth. Second sip was awesome. Just finishes just like nothing.
What I really notice on this is that it doesn't seem like it's 98 proof.
Mm-mm. You're right.
It just doesn't seem like it. 96 proof. So I did it backwards again.
Yeah, we did. We've done it. Yeah,
uncut, unfiltered. So now we've done it.
Yeah, 96 proof. So
48%.
48%. But no, it doesn't. Not at all.
That's actually rolling back really nice. It kind of sits forward on the tongue, but it's a very pleasant sits forward on the tongue. This tastes nothing like some of the high rye that we've had from MGP.
Yes.
So in case you're just now joining for the first time ever, MGP, Midwest Grain Producers. Yeah. And that is one of the highest producing places in whiskey in Indiana. Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. They produce some good stuff.
Amazing stuff. And they're known for some high rye recipes.
Yeah. But I'm very impressed by this. Yes. Very impressed.
And it does not seem like a high rye, and it also doesn't seem like, I'm going to get it right this time, and I feel bad for missing it, 96 proof.
Right.
So, if we were going to give, again, presentation, I'm giving it, I'm going to go level 4 on the char as far as presentation.
Presentation, yeah.
I love the bottles. I love the artwork. I like the fact that they break down their mash bill for you, which not everybody does that.
Yep.
Now, one thing that nobody does that I know of, at least that they're not normally putting out there on the regular is yeast strain, so they're not going to do that.
No.
But I do like that they tell you what the mash bill is you're about to consume.
Yeah. Then that's what I've always liked about them. They've done that with I think almost all their stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part, especially when they do their fusions and when they do their discovery series and things of that nature, which are blends of different whiskeys that they've sourced, that they break that down as well, which is also really cool. That does more along the lines of what the year and then the mash is, and then the percentage when it goes into that blend, which makes the fusion and the discovery series. But again, we are now strictly just talking about the Origin series, which is straight from Bardstown Bourbon Company from their location.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm impressed by this, and it's amazing to me because a lot of the high ryes that I've had, you don't get that little bit of a sweet component to it. But I am getting that sweet component on this. I do. It lingers right on the tip of your tongue, just a little bit of tingle right there.
It has it,
but it's
very
nothing,
light,
very light. But
compared to a standard high rye.
Yeah, but it finishes and I'm getting right on the middle. I'm getting a little bit of that sweet note.
And the 36% rye reminds me often of MGP. Yeah. As far as that is a percentage they use. 21 is a standard one for them, which is still high rye. And Keenan's a big fan, and he's in the background here with MGP, and I think you can actually verify that it is 21 and 36 that they use a good bit of in their high rye recipes with MGP products.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's pretty much where they are. Yeah. And speaking of high rye, I confess myself not to be the biggest rye fan in the world, as you know, but I've had some really surprisingly good high ryes that just blend so nice with some sweetness, and you almost just wonder how they do it, because you just don't feel like you're getting as much of the rye component as it states, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing how much balance is on this, but it's not overwhelming in the spice department.
Right.
So there's several different ryes that are out there. Obviously, there's standard rye, there's malted rye, there's chocolate malted rye, things like that.
Right.
It almost makes you wonder, like, if somebody's playing around with the rye department to be able to figure out if there's one that actually kind of mashes better in the mash bill per se to be able to do those things.
I was wondering about the malted barley, but no, it's only 4%, so that's not.
That's a low malted.
That's
barley
very low.
Which is a filler grain.
Yeah.
And again, cereal grains are mostly what we're talking about when it comes to a mash bill. A mash bill is the percentage of components that make up the recipe to make the whiskey.
Yep.
In this specific instance, these are bourbons.
I'm telling you, I'm impressed. They've done a good job.
All right, so I'm going to do the final nose, final walkthrough, and then we'll give this a barrel stayed char rating.
Yep.
Presentation, we've already done that one. We get that the level 4 for sure.
Definitely. It's still a beautiful bottle. I mean, it is.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the fact that they use fake corks because they don't ever go bad.
And some of these, I've had one trying to get the cork back. It was hard to get the cork back in one of these.
But from a retail standpoint, it is nice to have that bottle on the shelf because it takes up less space. So if you have more facings of different products they produce, and they produce a lot, Bardstown Bourbon Company has a lot, and you have more chances of getting more of them in a store than someone fighting for square inches on a shelf, whereas these take up probably about 3.5. Some of these other bottles, like our Control, take up a good bit more than that. Side note, in the retail world.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, though. I'm impressed.
I am very impressed with the Origin series.
Yes.
I can honestly say that the Origin series, to me, based off of revisiting this again, which I've had this one the most recent, this one being the bonded and the weeded, that one impresses me to the degree of some of the latest fusions that were most components of Bardstown Bourbon Company and less of the sourced whiskeys.
Right. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to give you, Charles, the floor here. Go ahead and give us the first ever rating and ranking system from Bourbon Banter Evans for the stave barrel char level that you give the Origin Series rye.
So for this one, I mean, I like ryes. I've started getting into ryes. I've gotten into them a little bit more. I mean,
Timeout, rye bourbon.
Rye bourbons, yes. But I don't know. It's one of these. I like it. It's very good. Now going into this, I'm kind of biased a little bit from what I remember. I'm gonna give it a 2. That's what I'm gonna go with.
That's a solid rating
Yes.
if you think about it. And all the whiskeys, all the bourbons that we've tried, I think giving it a 2 out of the 4 potential 5, that's a solid rating for So if you give it a level 2 char on a stave, and there's 4, so we're saying essentially you could break it down at 5 is probably not going to happen. Right. But out of all the stuff that we've tried, 50% of it, this matches up easily with it.
And that's where I stand. I mean, it's one of those where you waffle a little bit, but it's great. I mean, honestly, if you get it out there, try it. Give it a try.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to probably go on a different route. So I'm going to go price point in our market, which is all that we care about because this is where we live. Obviously, your market is different. We don't know where you live. I hope you guys are having a great time. Cheers again. Thank you for joining in. Hope you have a good bourbon as well. This is in the 40s. So that's a great value price point for what you're getting for a 6-year.
Yes.
Straight true mash from one specific location, not sourced in what they're calling the Origin Series. I think the packaging is great. So in the retail world, I think it's awesome. As far as quality, it hasn't let me down. As far as tasting it, it's unique enough where it makes me want to have another pour. But it also has the perfect balance of proof, and the component that I look for is there something that sets it apart and not just another bourbon. Like I can say that if you set this in a grouping of other bourbons, you're gonna be like, something's different.
It's unique.
Something's different. I think this one could be Bardstown, or I think this one could be Buffalo Trace or 1792 like I'm wearing. And by the way, verified 1792 socks on to match the shirt.
Yes, sir, you do.
So I agree with you 100%, and I'm going to give it the same rating. This is a 2 stave barrel char, but with that 4 on the presentation and everything. So if I was to give it the possibility, I'm going to burn that char a little bit heavier. And so I'm going to give this a 2.5 only because the 4 on the presentation So this would be in what I would call 2.5
Give it
barrel
an
staves.
Give an
so,
extra 5
So
seconds.
I'm going to burn half of it on the level 2, and I'm going to burn half that stave on the level 3.
Yep.
So I'll give that one a 2 and a 3. So let's move on to the weeded, which we've had before multiple times, maybe.
Just a few.
a little bit, yeah.
Just a few.
Justin, that's probably one of the best price points to come out of Bardstown.
Yeah,
That's 100%.
Definitely.
Yes.
definitely.
So Keenan, if in case you guys didn't hear in the background, is one of the best price points that Bardstown has done, and we 100% confirm and
Yes.
agree that these Origin series came out on point with price points. And what we do
And
know
what you're getting
is
for the price point.
what you get for the price point so far has been great.
Yes.
On top of the reason that I personally think, in my experience, that it is a better value because they're not having to contract buy somebody else's. So therefore, you can charge less.
Yep.
So they've got their own money invested in this product. They waited 6 years to age versus buying somebody else
Yep.
at their price to blend. And so Keenan and I agree with you 100%. So that adds to that $40 price point value. Now this one, Charles, is the weeded.
Yes, it is.
This one's a bottle and bond,
Bottle and bond.
which we love some DSPK numbers,
Yes.
DSPKY in the
Yes.
specifics. So DSP is what I should have said. This one is around 20% wheat.
Mm-hmm.
100 proof because it's bonded, and right at the top of the $40 price point. So we're looking at 49s to the mid 50s, depending on deal levels and things like that. So I say we go ahead and nose this one up, and
Yep.
cheers to you guys.
Yep. Like and subscribe, please, and just let us know. Give us your comments because we really enjoy those, and it's fun. And let us know if you've had it. If you don't agree with us, let us know.
Yeah. Any comment that you guys come up with, if you guys have had both of them and didn't like either one of them,
Or-
great, let us know.
Or hey, let us know what you think about our rating system too.
Yeah, the stave barrel char level system 1
Yep.
through 4 with the hopefully one day we'll get that. We might as well call it the 1910 rating.
No, we will.
So, but that being said,
Mm-hmm. Totally different nose on this.
if
Totally different.
you guys were wondering if we were paying attention to the comments, we 100% are, and we are working on sound. We are working on visual. We're working on lights and everything to hopefully get this up and running better, so that everything is. So that's in the making. So again, 2024 is a new year for doing things with Bourbon Banter.
Yes,
so.
indeed. I'm telling you what, the nose, totally different nose,
Oh
but
man,
still.
it's so much more mild and
Yes.
almost flat.
Yeah,
and
but-
if anybody's been around me drinking bourbon before, especially doing a barrel pick, if a flat nose comes out,
But I do get that wheat note on the.
do you think so?
Oh yeah. I get that little bit. It's almost like like a doughy note, kind of a. That's kind of what I get on that a little bit. Just it's a very small hint. It's really sweet.
This has enough going on that I could spend way too much time trying to figure out what's going on. And for a 6-year, I give that high credit as far as the nose goes. I'm gonna give the W to the nose on this one versus that Origin Series one. So W to the wheat over the rye, just in the nose. Not saying quality yet.
And I would say honestly, the majority of the ryes that I've had, the nose to me, you get a lot of that rye, and you get that. To me, I would probably go with more of the wheated, have the better nose than I would say the ryes. That's just my personal opinion.
This is so soft.
It is.
It's so soft. It's so mild, and it is flat, but it still has something.
No, it's got some complexity to it. I really do think so. Now I'll tell you what, first sip, it's always a good one. What you thinking? Right off the bat.
But that is going to be tough to bring down another Origin Series.
Yep.
And I think this did it with no problem on the first sip.
Yep.
So I'm going to go bottle and bond just on the first sip. Now, obviously, things can change. And this kind of is almost, if you could say it, and almost like if you had this in 2 different barrels and you're doing a barrel pick and you were like, this is this barrel, this is this barrel, and you don't know mashes, this is almost like neutralized everything that we were getting from this that was good, and making this a lot more mild but more approachable.
Yep.
And so therefore drinkability on my scale goes up higher on the stave barrel char scale. So in my rankings, quality wise, this doesn't seem like a 6-year. This seems like something that I have no problem spending a couple dollars extra, which is about the difference in this. It's a few dollars more, and you get the bottle and bond, still a 6-year, and you get the. If you're into weeded, that's fine. If you're not, this still appeals. I think
It does.
It doesn't scream overwhelming weeded bourbon.
No, it doesn't scream that all muted down, weeded or whatnot. It's got some complexity to it. It's got a great finish. I like the finish on this one better than I do this one. But they are 2 totally different bourbons, but they are so unique. And they're both great. I know. I'm right
It
there.
lingers.
With you.
It lingers.
It does.
You get extra flavor. You can kind of like move your tongue around the pockets in your mouth and around your lips and things like that. It'll stay more towards the back and middle, not just on the tip, which would be the rye that has a tendency to do that. So it's more mild.
I'm getting a little bit more. I kind of get a little drying effect on that one too. A little bit. You getting that at all?
Not necessarily yet.
Okay.
But that's one of the things I like about them being a 6-year versus some other 6-years that I've had that have a tendency to be a little bit more tannin forward as far as oak goes. These aren't overdone. Now, after you've mentioned that, and I've talked, and it's kind of dried out my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see that, but it's not initial for me.
No, it's in the back.
I mean, everybody's palate's different, so it's not initial on mine. Mine's kind of in my cheeks, too.
Yeah. I'm just getting on the very back of my tongue. It just seems like now, like, okay, it's almost saying, hey, I want you to get another sip, which is not a bad thing to do. I enjoy it. So
that is just solid.
What do you think on a stave scale?
So I'm already on past 2.
Yep.
So I'm going to give presentation. Obviously, I like a good black label.
Yeah.
So give me a solid looking black label that looks a little bit mysterious and it makes me want to read it. It doesn't stand out, but you have to get close to read to see what the lettering is, see what the words are, see what the percentage are, the proof, things like that. So obviously I'm going to give that the 4 on the stave barrel char level for the presentation, the artwork, the proofs, and things like that.
I'll tell you, what's kind of funny, you bring up that. When I look at this label, for some reason I always think of CYPB with the white,
white and gold, huh? White and gold.
Just something that popped out.
All right, so Weller 12 is weeded. So then the Origin Series Black is going to be Weller 12 versus CYPB. And did somebody switch this stuff and not let us know?
I don't know.
It could be. So so since you put me on the spot, then I'm going to go third sip real quick, and then I'm going to do my final overall on this, and we'll switch to you. So we'll do it reverse. You did that one first. I'll do this one first.
And then you know what? Then we just got to say comparable. We know what this is. We know how it drinks.
Now I'm going to take a small sip.
Yep.
Okay. Overall quality of this, and this is going to be tough to say. Out of all the different things that we've had, I could drink this on a daily, on a regular, and it's not going to let me down. Price point for quality, I really appreciate. Some of the things you can get under the $20 price point is fantastic as far as your go-to. As far as what you get, the dynamic, the diversity that you're getting from this whiskey versus the other and the finish, I'm going to give that a solid 3 on the stave barrel char list. So if you combine that with the 4, I can't bump that up because I've had a lot of other whiskeys that were fantastic. I really, really like what the Origin Series is doing here. So out of the 2, I'm going to give this one the edge. So I'll give that one, if it's not a 2.75, it's a solid 3. Yeah. So in our stave barrel char list, this is getting I'm going to give this a char level 3 as far as I think you should go out and buy and try. This is a buy and try, no doubt.
And honestly, this one is.
This is too.
This one is too. Yeah. It's just the palate for me, and I will agree with you. With me on this one, I'm definitely above this one. I'm going to go with a solid 2. I'm going to say a 2.5 to 2.75 for me.
So you got it ranked a little bit lower, but still so similar in the Origin Series. And I like that. What
you're doing is, I think you're also taking into account the bottle and everything else like that. For me, I'm more of long lines. I'm just going with flavor. With overall profile. I like this profile. For me, I like this profile better. Not that I say this profile is bad. I will drink this any day for the price point, everything. It is great. I would just tend to go towards it. I would gravitate towards this one.
100%. And maybe we just found out that my weakness is really cool looking bottles. So,
but you can't go wrong with either one of these, to be honest with you. Especially like you've said multiple times, the price point. These are both great. Honestly, if you have it in your, if it's in your area, or if you are in our area, sorry, having a hard time talking right this
Uncut, unfiltered.
But go out there, look at it, take a look at it. If you want to, grab it. It's a good drink for the price point.
This is actually both recommended. And again, keep in mind, this is the newest version that we're trying to portray in the ranking and rating system for level char rating. So both of these have rated very well.
Yeah, and I think they were great for our first ones to start our rating system.
I think it's fantastic. The library of whiskeys and bourbons that we've tried is pretty vast. Yes. So in order to start out with these, with the Origin Series, and we're big Bardstown Bourbon Company fans, the facilities are fantastic. The food's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the products they put out are really good, but the Origin series, with it being their own distillate, their own juice liquid,
Yep.
I think they did a great job.
100%.
And so never would I ever get mad at buying one of these, nor rebuying to purchase and drink again.
Yeah.
So Keenan is also a Bardstown Bourbon Company fan, so I'm going to put you on the spot one more time. Keenan, do you recall your first time trying the Origin series of the wheated, if you were a bigger fan of that or the rye?
100% we did.
100% wheated? Yeah.
Bottle and Bond, man.
That bottle and bond is where it is.
Such a good port, and for the price.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean, getting a bottle bond in that price point is, I mean, with the quality that it is it's good.
Yeah.
It's
Fantastic.
Great, yep.
Well, stay tuned for any other ratings and rankings that we might do. This is the Bardstown Bourbon Origin Series, the level 1 through 4 stave barrel char ratings. Maybe you'll see us in a video that does a 1910 rating, is what we're going to call that now, which is past the alligator char.
Yeah.
If that occurs, you're probably going to want to reach out and join us for that pour. Not saying that we know everything that we're doing, but we can at least pretend.
And honestly, if there's something you'd like to see us rate, let us know. Let us know if there's anything you would like to see us do a ranking on our videos. We will gladly take that into account. And honestly, I mean, that's what we want.
We've done this.
Yep.
You know, we've had several people reach out. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So now, it wasn't our standard style, but we're going to start putting a little bit more in this video. Is we're actually going to talk about what we actually think about these whiskeys and break them down.
Yep.
For years, I had to go to a lot of trade shows.
Yep.
You've been there with me. Keenan's been there. We've gone barrel picks. We've done this, and we've had to rank, rate, and figure out which whiskeys we want to break apart, look further into, and things like that. So now, after you guys have said we want to know a little bit more, then this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's going to be every time.
Not everything, but you're going to see more videos of us doing these rankings.
Yes, and it should be a good time. So there won't be as long of a video, and to give you an idea of whether we recommend it.
Right.
So,
and then honestly, if you take our recommendation, go out there, try it, and then put a comment in there. Let us know, hey, were we correct, or did you not agree with us?
Yeah, and everybody's palate's different, like we've always said, but I think you might start to get to where we could start to form into a group of this makes sense in this price point, category, flavor profile.
Definitely.
So I'm going to say cheers to everybody out there again. Thank you guys. Thank you in the background.
Appreciate it, guys.
So,
Yep. Like and subscribe, everybody, please, and give us your comments.
cheers.
Cheers.